How's everyone doing? This is Judge with another edition of the Cosmic Answer LLC. And as always, whenever I bring up a video, I always ask to please like and subscribe so I can always send you some information from the cosmos. Now, with that being said, I want to discuss what's coming up around the 18th of June of this month. As you know, I'm foundational Black American, and there's a special holiday that happens every year in the United States of America pertaining to the events that occurred with my people. That event is Juneteenth. Now, Juneteenth is the 19th of June for those who don't know. Sometime in our history, our people went through the Emancipation Proclamation. But no one ever talked about what does that mean cosmically. Well, I want to talk about the reason why this Juneteenth is going to be particularly special. The eve of June 19th will be Saturn, the planet Saturn, going retrograde on the 18th, right before Juneteenth, which is on the 19th. And it's going to fall in the sign of Aquarius. Now, for those who don't know, I'm a Vedic astrologer. I'm not a tropical or Western, therefore I follow the Sidereal system. Therefore, Saturn is not in Pisces. It's in Aquarius because of the precession of the equinox by 23 degrees approximately. All right, so if you follow me, Saturn is in Aquarius and it's going to go retrograde on the 18th. Now, I also want you to understand, because I do practice Vedic astrology, I'm always mentioning the Nakshatras or the lunar mansions. So within Aquarius, Saturn will be transiting Shatabhisha, which means 100 abilities, or God's position of 100 skills. What does that mean for everyone? Saturn wants foundational Black Americans to realize one thing. Don't just bypass this as any holiday to remember, because a lot of things are going on in this country to where foundational Black Americans are awakening to something. As you all know, you hear about the reparations movement, all of this wokeness going on. And I'm very adhered to it because I'm a foundational Black American myself. But a lot of people in other regions of this world aren't very privy to what's going on here. So just know, in any event, especially when Saturn is behaving, because he's the slowest moving planet as far as the Navagrahas are concerned, he's about to let a certain group of people know it's time to understand and learn some skills that we've always been told. Because there's a lot of Black inventors that goes under the radar. It's time for us to start learning this. For all those foundational Black Americans watching this video, just know on the 18th, something is going to click in you to realize, I didn't know I knew that about myself. Because when Saturn is retrograde, or any planet goes retrograde, they give its reversed effects. For example, Saturn is known as a malefic planet. A lot of people say malefics are bad, but it's what it is. It's malefic. These planets act very males. You know how a coach or just a man, like a man's man, is here to be forceful and direct and get on you about certain things? That's how malefic planets are. That includes Sun, Mars, Rahu, Ketu, and Saturn. These planets are masculine. They're not evil, they're just masculine. So when males are doing something, we're forthcoming, we're direct, we're here to get things done and build. Juxtaposed to the benefic planets where you have Moon, Venus, Jupiter, and in some cases Mercury. So we're not here to make things pleasant, we're here to get to work. And no pain, no gain, that's what malefics do. So back to what Saturn is doing, when a malefic planet goes retrograde, they kind of taking the ease on the malefic energy. It has to backtrack. So Saturn's going to be behaving a bit benefically when this happens, because every 2.5 years, it transmigrates a Rashi, or a sign. So right now we're at that point to where Saturn is about to take a look back and retrace its steps for about 4 months, because that's how long the retrograde of Saturn occurs, 4 months. So if anybody that's familiar with Shatabhisha, which is ruled by Rahu. I want you to do two things. Look at where your natal Saturn is and where Saturn is currently transiting, especially on June 18th, because you're going to have to track what Saturn is doing in your personal lives. So let's just use any chart, for example, or let's just say you're an Aquarius ascendant and Saturn is currently transiting your Lagna or your ascendant or your rising, whatever you care to tell it. That means Saturn rules your first house and your 12th house. And let's just say your natal Saturn placement is in the 4th house. All right, so that will put Saturn in Taurus, meaning it could fall in any of these 3 nakshatras. It could fall in Kritika, Rohini, or Marikshara. All right, so that Saturn could be in Kritika, Rohini, or Marikshara. And each of those lunar mansions have a different essence to what Saturn is doing. So if you have Saturn in your 4th house of Taurus, there's going to be some restraints and dealings when it comes to your homestead, your automobiles, your mother, parenting skills, all of that. So with Saturn transiting Aquarius, that would place it a square away or 4 spots away from its return. So what does that mean? Saturn is dealing with you because it's in the ascendant. So whatever you're going, if you're an Aquarius ascendant with natal Saturn in the 4th house, just know that 4th house energy is coming to you. You got to get something done in your house. There's some skills you need to learn about your house. Maybe it's plumbing. Maybe it's roofing. Or maybe somebody's going to give you a sign from the homeowners association and tell you you got to get your driveway cleaned up. It's been about 6 months. And since it's spring, you got to get some trimming done. So those are just examples of what a retrograde planet, especially Saturn, is doing. Let's take another example. Let's just say you're a Scorpio ascendant and your natal Saturn is in the 12th house, so it's in Sagittarius. So right now, Saturn is transiting wherever Aquarius falls in a Scorpio's chart, which is again the 4th house. So Saturn is transiting your 4th house in this case, where your natal Saturn is positioned in the 12th. So that 12th house energy is going into your 4th, meaning you're going to have to spend some money on that house, or you may have to spend some money on a car repair or some roofing. And when Saturn goes retrograde in Shatabhisha, you got to be on your P's and Q's and learn what to do, because Saturn's going to make it hard for you, but it's something you should have always learned to begin with. All right. So back to what I was saying. Juneteenth holiday is not too far from now. Black people are going to realize that Saturn is about to open up that portal for our ancestors to show us something. So just don't be afraid. Don't think it's taboo. Just embrace it. Because Rahu co-rules the Nakshatra of Shatabhisha. So you best believe there's going to be some skills coming to you from beyond. Because in my community, there's a lot of black folks that are still in church, still believe the devil's evil, all this and that, yada, yada. But you can't deny Saturn is real. You can see it in the sky. And we all know Saturn is related to black. All right, so when Saturn comes around in anybody's chart, it doesn't matter your ethnicity or race. Saturn is here to give you a 2.5-year lesson. And you have to examine the nakshatras as well. You just can't look at Aquarius, because there's many depths to Aquarius. You got to look at the nakshatras and the padas. All of this coincides, including this star lord. Whatever Saturn falls in Aquarius, whether it's Dhanishta, whether it's Shatabhisha or Purvabhadrapada, you got to look at those 3 star lords, which are Mars for Dhanishta, Rahu for Shatabhisha, and Jupiter for Purvabhadrapada. And you got to look where they're all located in your chart and where they're transiting. So with Juneteenth coming here, just be aware there's going to be a paradigm shift. All of a sudden, you're going to realize you're going to be working more on that holiday rather than celebrating or mourning. Just keep that in mind, especially to all the foundational Black Americans that know what that holiday means in the United States of America. So again, this is Judge coming to you from the Cosmic Answer LLC. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.